A dimly lit interrogation room. Inspector Zak, a tough but righteous cop, sits in handcuffs. Across from him, Commissioner Rao glares at him, throwing a file on the table. Commissioner Rao. Angrily. Inspector Zak, you've been accused of corruption, accepting bribes, and colluding with the underworld. Inspector Zak. Calmly leaning forward. That's a lie, Commissioner. Someone is setting me up. I have always served justice. Commissioner Rao. Sarcastic. Then explain this. Opens the file, revealing photos of Zak with a known gangster. Inspector Zak. Shocked, realizing it's a setup. I don't know how these were taken, but this is not what it looks like. Before Zak can explain, two officers enter and grab him. Officer 1. Inspector Zak, you are under arrest for corruption and abuse of power. Zak struggles, but is restrained. As he is taken away, he locks eyes with the commissioner, who looks disappointed.
Scene 2, the escape.
A high-security prison.
Nighttime.
Zak is in his cell thinking. A fellow inmate, Ravi, whispers to him from the next cell.
Ravi, you don't belong here, Zak.
If you really want justice, you need to escape and find the truth yourself. Inspector Zak. Determined. I will. But I need a plan. Later that night, a power outage occurs in the prison. Zak uses this moment to overpower a guard, steal his keys, and escape through the ventilation system. As alarms blare, Zak jumps from the prison wall, disappearing into the darkness. Scene 3. On the run. Zak, now a fugitive, changes his appearance and starts investigating his own case. He contacts his trusted journalist friend Maya. Maya.
Zak.
The whole city thinks you're guilty. Inspector Zak. That's exactly what they want. Someone powerful framed me. I need proof.
Maya.
I might have something. A secret meeting is happening tonight. Commissioner Rao and a crime lord named Vikram. If we catch them together, you'll have your proof. Scene 4. The confrontation. Abandoned warehouse. Zak sneaks in and hides. He records Commissioner Rao accepting a bribe from Vikram. Vikram. Laughing. With Zak out of the way, no one can stop us now. Commissioner Rao. Smirks. The police belong to me now. Zak steps out. Gun drawn. Scene 5. A new threat. A few days later. Zak is reinstated in the police force. He sits in his office, flipping through case files, when his phone rings. It's Maya.
Maya. Zak, you need to see this.
Meet me at my office. Zak arrives at Maya's office, where she shows him a USB drive. On the screen, there's a video of a masked figure speaking in a distorted voice. Masked figure on screen. Inspector Zak, you may have defeated Rao and Vikram, but the real enemy is still out there. You were framed because you were getting too close. If you want the truth, come alone to the docks at midnight. The screen goes black. Zak clenches his jaw. Maya. Zak, this could be a trap. Inspector Zak. Determined. Maybe. But I need to know who's really behind this. Scene 6. Midnight showdown. Dark and foggy docks. Zak arrives, gun in hand. A black SUV pulls up, and a tall, shadowy man steps out. His name is Azim Khan, a notorious businessman rumored to control the city's underground operations. Azim Khan. Smirking. I must say, Zak, you're persistent. Inspector Zak. You set me up. You had Rao and Vikram do your dirty work while you stayed in the shadows. Azim Khan. Clever, but you have no proof. You got lucky once, but now your luck runs out. Khan signals his men. A dozen armed goons surround Zak. A fight breaks out. Zak dodges bullets, taking cover behind crates. He fights fiercely, taking down enemy after enemy in brutal hand-to-hand combat. Just as Khan tries to escape, Maya arrives in a car, ramming into his SUV. Zak drags Khan out, pinning him to the ground. Inspector Zak. Gritting his teeth. Your game is over. Azim Khan. Laughs weakly. You think so? The real power is still watching. You'll never win. Zak knocks him out and calls for backup. Scene 7. The real battle begins. The next morning, Zak watches as Khan is taken into custody. But deep inside, he knows the fight isn't over.
Maya. It's over, Zak.
You did it. Inspector Zak, shaking his head.
No.
Khan was just a pawn. Someone bigger is pulling the strings. Scene 8. The Deeper Conspiracy. A dark, luxurious office overlooking the city. A figure in a black suit, known only as the Syndicate leader, watches the news on a massive screen. Azim Khan has been arrested, but the leader remains calm. He sips whiskey and dials a number. Syndicate leader. Coldly. Inspector Zak is becoming a problem. It's time we remind him who really runs this city. He hangs up. Somewhere in the city, a shadowy assassin loads a silencer onto his gun and smirks. Scene 9. The hit. Zak is at his home, bandaging his wounds from the previous fight. He hears a noise. Instinctively, he grabs his gun and moves cautiously. Suddenly, glass shatters. A bullet barely misses his head. Zak dives for cover as the assassin fires. A tense cat-and-mouse chase ensues through the house. Finally, Zak outmaneuvers the assassin, disarming him. Inspector Zak, pinning the assassin down, gun to his head.
Who sent you?
Assassin chuckles, blood dripping from his mouth.
You're already dead, Zak. You just don't know it yet.
Before Zak can get more information, the assassin bites down on something, cyanide. He dies instantly. Zak stares, realizing this is bigger than he thought. Scene 10. The Hidden Enemy. Zak meets Maya and his old mentor, retired ACP Raghav, a legend in the force who knows the city's darkest secrets. ACP Raghav. Zak, the people you're fighting, they're not just criminals. They own the system. Politicians, businessmen, law enforcement, everyone has a price.
Maya.
Then, how do we bring them down? ACP Raghav. With evidence. But it won't be easy. If you want the truth, you'll have to go where no cop has ever dared to go. Inspector Zak. Determined. Then tell me where to start. Scene 11. Breaking into the Syndicate. A high-tech underground club, a front for illegal activities. Zak infiltrates the place, disguised as a gangster. He makes his way to the VIP section, where Rahul Mehra, a corrupt politician, is laughing with underworld bosses. Zak records everything: drug deals, bribes, money laundering. Just as he is about to leave, he is recognized. Rahul Mehra, smirking. Gentlemen, it seems we have an uninvited guest. The goons attack. Zak fights them off in an intense, brutal sequence. He barely escapes with the footage. Scene 12. The final play. Zak, Maya, and ACP Raghav release the footage to the press. The entire city erupts in shock. Arrests begin, but the Syndicate leader remains hidden. Just as Zak thinks it's over, his phone rings. A secret hideout in an unknown location. The Syndicate leader sits at a long table with international crime lords. A large screen displays Zak's face. Syndicate leader. Inspector Zak has become a problem. We need to eliminate him before he destroys everything we built. A Russian arms dealer, a Chinese hacker, and a Middle Eastern smuggler nod in agreement. Syndicate leader. Send our best. Make sure this ends now. Cut to a shadowy figure, an elite assassin known as Phantom, prepares his weapons. He receives Zak's photo on his phone and grins. Scene 2. Zak's next move. Zak and ACP Raghav meet in a secret location. Maya joins via video call. ACP Raghav. Zak, we hit them hard, but they're still standing. The Syndicate is bigger than we thought.
Maya.
Interpol has been tracking them for years. Drugs, weapons, human trafficking, they control everything. Inspector Zak. Then we take the fight to them. ACP Raghav. You'll need help. I have an old contact, Agent Elena Kovacs, ex-CIA, now working with Interpol. If anyone knows how to dismantle this syndicate, it's her. Scene 3. Meeting Elena. Budapest, Hungary. Zak meets Elena Kovacs in a rooftop cafe. She's sharp, dangerous, and trusts no one. Elena Kovacs. Lighting a cigarette. So, you're the Indian cop causing trouble for the syndicate. Inspector Zak. And you're the ex-CIA agent they couldn't control. Elena Kovacs smirks.
Touché.
But if we do this, there's no turning back. The Syndicate won't stop until we're dead. Suddenly, gunfire. Phantom's assassins attack. A high-speed chase through Budapest follows. Zak and Elena barely escape. Scene 4. Unraveling the web. Interpol safe house. Elena lays out the Syndicate structure. A powerful man, Damien Volkov, is at the top. Elena Kovacs. Volkov controls everything from Europe to Asia. He's untouchable. Inspector Zak. Not for long. They plan an infiltration. Zak will pose as a buyer in Volkov's next arms deal in Dubai. Scene 5. Undercover in Dubai. A luxurious yacht off the Dubai coast. Zak, disguised as an Indian crime boss, meets Volkov. Tension is high. Volkov. India has been troublesome for my business lately. Inspector Zak. That's why I'm here, to make things right. But Volkov isn't fooled. He signals his men. Zak is exposed. A brutal fight breaks out. Elena provides sniper cover from a distance. The yacht explodes as Zak and Elena escape. Scene 6. The final battle. Volkov flees to his private fortress in Switzerland. Zak, Elena, and an elite Interpol strike team launch an assault. Explosions, gunfights, and hand-to-hand combat ensue. Zak finally confronts Volkov in his office. Volkov. Killing me won't change anything. There will always be another. Inspector Zak. Then I'll keep fighting. A massive skyscraper in Tokyo. A figure stands by the window, watching the city below. His face is hidden in shadows. This is the Emperor, the true mastermind behind the Syndicate. A large screen shows footage of Damien Volkov's death. The Emperor sips his tea, unaffected. The Emperor. Volkov was reckless. I warned him. A Japanese Yakuza boss, a Colombian cartel leader, and a European banker sit at the table. Yakuza boss. This Inspector Zak, he's a problem. The Emperor. Not for long.
I have just the man for the job.
The camera shifts to Reaper, an elite assassin with a reputation for eliminating entire military squads. He sharpens his blade, smiling coldly. Scene 2. Zak's warning. New Delhi. Zak is back in India, but he knows this fight isn't over. Maya and ACP Raghav meet him in a safe house. ACP Raghav. Interpol confirmed it. Volkov was just a lieutenant. The real boss is still out there. Maya. And he knows about you, Zak. Asterisk, Zak looks at his phone. A new message, you survived Volkov. But can you survive me? Before Zak can respond, gunshots. Assassins storm the safe house. A brutal fight ensues. Zak and his team escape by the skin of their teeth. Scene 3. A race against time. Interpol headquarters, France. Zak and Elena Kovacs reunite. Elena Kovacs. The Emperor runs a global empire, drugs, weapons, cyber warfare. If we don't stop him now, no one can. Inspector Zak. Then where do we start? Elena Kovacs. Shanghai. A hacker named Ghost has information on him. But getting to him won't be easy. Cut to Shanghai's neon-lit skyline. Zak and Elena navigate the underground cyber world, dodging both criminals and corrupt government agents. Scene 4. Enter the Reaper. Zak and Elena find Ghost, but before they can extract information, the Reaper arrives. He takes out everyone in his way with surgical precision. Zak and the Reaper engage in a brutal, high-speed fight on a rooftop. The Reaper overpowers Zak, leaving him wounded. Reaper. Whispering as he walks away. Tell your friends, death is coming. Zak barely survives. Ghost dies, but not before handing over a USB drive with vital information. Scene 5. The final mission. The USB reveals the Emperor's real identity, Satoshi Nakamura, a billionaire businessman funding global chaos. Maya. If we expose him, the whole world will turn against him. Elena Kovacs. Easier said than done. His fortress in Tokyo is impenetrable. Inspector Zak. Then we break in. A final, high-stakes mission begins. Zak, Elena, and a team of Interpol operatives infiltrate Nakamura's heavily guarded facility. Explosions. Gunfights. A final showdown between Zak and the Reaper in a burning skyscraper. In the end, Zak defeats Reaper and corners Nakamura. Satoshi Nakamura. Smirking. Kill me, and another will rise. That's the way the world works. Inspector Zak. Then I'll keep fighting. Zak arrests him instead of killing him, ensuring justice is served. Final scene. The war isn't over. Asterisk back in India, Zak receives a package. Inside is a chess piece, a black king, and a note, "You took down a king." But the game has just begun. As Zak looks out over the city, he knows his fight is far from over. To be continued.